Welcome back, everybody. I'm taking the bike for its first service. There's also a good few things I want to get off my chest as well. It's going to be an interesting trip, this one. Join me after the sting. Welcome aboard, everybody. This is my first actual, proper spin out since I've owned this bike, and I'm going back to the dealer where I bought it from, down in County Cork. I'll come on to that actually, why I'm going all the way down there and bypassing the dealer in Dublin. Oh God, there's that ASA shifting when I lean it over on the corner again, which brings me nicely onto the fact that as well as the bike getting its first service at the dealer when I get there, it's also getting a software update. I really hope it's a software update to address this ASA, because I ain't happy, but I am happy with the bike. The power is unbelievable. See, what I would have liked is for the bike to have dropped down. I'm in automatic mode now. When I was overtaking that car, it would have been lovely just with a bit of a kickback on the throttle, for it to drop down a gear just to get me past even quicker. Very sunny day today, which I'm delighted about. I hope it stays that way all the way down to Cork. So I live in County Cavan. I'm doing a 340 kilometre trip down to County Cork today. I'm staying overnight in a hotel tonight. The bike goes in for its first service tomorrow morning at 8:30. They're giving me a courtesy bike for the day, which I'm really looking forward to because it's a bike I've wanted to ride for a while. And then did I mention the software update? They call it a service update, but it's a software update. I don't know what that's about yet. I really, like I say, I hope it's to do with the ASA, but I shall find out when I'm down there exactly what they have updated. Then I'm riding home tomorrow night, another 340 kilometres back home, and most of that will be in the dark, so that'll be a good time to check exactly how bright the lights are on this bike, because I haven't had that opportunity just yet. So yeah, I'm gonna tell you, I'm really not into dealer bashing, okay? But the reason I'm going, there are two BMW dealerships in Ireland. Joe Duffy BMW in Dublin, which I literally ride past in about 40 minutes time, to go all the way down to Cork, and here's the rain. Welcome to Ireland. But I'm going to Keary's, 340 kilometres away. I have to be totally honest, it's an awful faff on having to stay overnight in a hotel tonight just to get the service done. I don't know how that's going to work in the future, but for its first service I don't mind doing that, especially with an update. And they're also putting tyres on for me as well, which are my Michelin Road 6s. I just love those tyres. Keary's have very kindly agreed to put them on for me free of charge, which is very nice of them. They did agree that as part of the deal when I was buying this bike. So it was nice that I was able to see the Tourance Next 2s. Everybody raves about these tyres, but just not for me. I have Michelin Road 6s on all my bikes, and I just love the feedback from the road that I get from them. I've noticed that the Tourance Next 2s, at first when I first went out on this bike, I thought the Next 2s were quiet, but actually they're a lot noisier than the Road 6s. Now, saying that, it's a totally different bike, of course, to the bikes that I've ridden with the Road 6s on, so I hope I'm not riding home tomorrow thinking, oh my god, why did I get the Road 6s on? But the feedback I get from the Road 6s, I just love. And I've had a couple of little tight bottom moments with the Next 2s, only in the wet, not in the dry. Oh jeepers, I'm looking at the speed there. Sorry, my dashboard went blurry there, so I'll just slow the speed right down. That's such a misleading thing about this bike. It's very, very easy to be going way over the speed limit because it's so smooth. Right, okay, I'm going to tell you about the dealership first of all. This is going to be a long trip. Hopefully it won't be a long video, okay? There's a few things I want to talk about. I've had an awful weekend. Jesus, that's windy. Nearly blew me into the side there. It was nearly an even worse weekend there. That was unbelievable, that wind. Literally threw me into the side. Thank God the bike is as heavy as it is, because that's what kept me going in a straight line there. Right, this is the upshot. There's a lot of people, especially those who live in Ireland, wondering why I went to Keary's all the way down in County Cork and I didn't do the deal with Joe Duffy's. Listen, I'm not going to get personal or anything like that. I'm just going to tell you, because there was a difference of €4,500 in the deal with me trading in my R1300 GS. So I was going to do a trade-in. Keary's offered me $9,500 for my 1200 GS. Joe Duffy in Dublin offered me $5,000 or $5,500. Sorry, yeah. So there's a difference of $4,000 there, and then Keary's also said they'd put the tyres at their own expense on for me, which was the Road 6s. So I listen, from the get-go, I've just been incredibly looked after at Keary's. The great thing as well about Keary's is that they said when we'd done the deal on the trade-in price of my GS that I could carry on riding it. That wasn't going to be the case if I had have done the deal with Joe Duffy, but then I was never going to do a deal like that with Joe Duffy. For those of you who don't know, I think I might have, it's very windy, I might have mentioned it in a previous video. I had placed €500 deposit down on a 1250 GSA, and it was only when I went to sort the deal out in Joe Duffy's that one of these bikes had just come in. It was the first week that these had just come in, and it was parked next to the 1250 GSA, and I thought, what? And the bike I was buying was 4 years old, by the way, and I just thought, what am I doing? What am I doing? Looking at this, I actually thought, what am I doing? And I had a bit of a meltdown in the showroom. I rang a few people close to me and said, well, include mainly my eldest son. I said, I need you to speak sense to me here, because I'm about to cancel the deal and buy a GSA, the 1300 GSA. Well, he said, you'd be crazy not to, Dad. So anyway, that's where we are with that. So listen, I've just outlined why I went to Keary's, so that's that cleared up, hopefully. I just said previously, I think I did, maybe as I was thinking it, that it's been an awful weekend. For the first time, I've been YouTubing for 5 years this year, okay? And for the first time ever, I don't mind admitting, the negativity got the better of me this weekend. It really did, really did. So I don't know when you're watching this video, but the video which has just gone out this weekend is my first ride, first thoughts video on this bike, okay? And we all know this bike has divided the motorcycle world, certainly the GS world. It's they should have called it Marmite, because you either love it or you hate it. Obviously, I love the bike, and that's why we have a marketplace in all walks of life. That's, you know, it would be very boring if we all like the same thing, and I totally get that. And the amount of comments on the video which went out at the weekend there have been unprecedented, about your thoughts of this bike. That's fine, and there's no way I would get offended when people say, you know, I really don't like the bike. What I do get offended by, my wife has said I shouldn't even address this, because she's seen over the weekend how it did get to me. But the amount of personal hate, if you like, I deleted most of it, and then I love-hearted some of it as well. From people who have followed me for a while, I know their names, they've commented on other videos, and I've responded back. But the amount of hate, and I really don't understand why, but there was a lot of personal comments aimed towards me on how I spend my money, on how stupid I am, and, you know, comments about my financial situation. It has absolutely nothing to do with anybody else, how I want to spend my money. Now, the flip side of all of this negativity, like I said, I've never received as many comments in my 5 years of YouTubing on any video as I did this weekend. So the flip side is the amount of positivity from, again, those whose names I recognize, who followed me for a long time. You know, that really lifted me out of it, but I've never witnessed the hate like I did this weekend from any video. So thanks so much to all of you who left positive messages, and I don't mean the ones who said, by the way, I love your bike and I think your bike's fantastic. I really don't give two hoots what anybody thinks of this bike. I really don't. It's because I love this bike. I love the way it looks, I love the way it feels, I love the way it rides, and fortunately I'm in a situation where I can afford it. So I'm a very, very happy biker, and even more so because I'm sitting on this bike now, loving life, okay? And I'm so excited about this journey that I'm doing. So thanks to all of you who left positive messages. I do this for a bit of crack, this YouTubing. I don't do it as a public service. I don't do it to make money. You know, I do it as a bit of crack because I enjoy it. And there was part of me over the weekend which made me think, you know, what am I doing? What am I doing? Now, the likes of Andy, Bruce, Ritchie, you all know who I'm talking about there, I think. They had warned me over the years that this will eventually creep in, and obviously it's a testament to the success of the channel, for want of a better phrase. The channel has made an extraordinary leap in terms of subscribers and followers and comments and views, and therefore monthly income over the last 3 months. It's just, and I don't know what's done it. I really don't. I don't know what has triggered that. Because in my head I'm still making the same content I've made over the last 5 years, but I don't know, maybe I have no idea. Anyway, most of this journey is going to be done on roads like this. I just want to get down there to the hotel, so it'll be really interesting to see, because normally in a car it's a 4-hour journey. It'll be really interesting to see if I'm tired at the end of the journey. When I do it in a car, I'm absolutely knackered. And just how the bike handles on this journey as well. I didn't quite fill the tank up before I left. I mean, obviously one tank would have done me the entire journey, because, yeah, probably just about the entire journey. So I should have done that as another test as well. I've just wondered why I'm slowing down. It's because I have my cruise control set, and it's obviously doing the radar thing it's supposed to do against the car in front. I like that, without touching anything apart from the indicator. I wonder what happens. Ah, that's nice. So it started speeding up to enable my overtake before I even went over the white line there. So it's quite a narrow sensor, which is great. But it's not a wide beam of a sensor. I'm very happy about that. The seat feels gorgeous and comfortable. I have the heating on as well, and I have learnt recently how to set the burger button and the rocker switch here to my 2 favourites. I might do a separate little video about that in case you're wondering. It's so easy, but somebody had to tell me. A subscriber called Martin, he sent me a little email telling me how to do it. I was lying awake in bed last night, just wishing the night away so I could come out on this journey. I also have another little problem with my helmet. It's not getting enough airflow over it. And again, I think that's because the screen is so good and throwing the air around me. That I'm just misting up all of the time. I've got a Shoei Neotec 3. It's an incredible helmet. I love it. And it fits like a glove. It's very quiet. It does everything I want in terms of a helmet. Hopefully I'll obviously never have to find out what a helmet is really for. But every time I ride this bike I mist up, and I've got all of the vents open. I've tried them in all different configurations. And as soon as I drop the screen, then obviously it gets airflow into the helmet, and it sorts the problem out. But like, for instance, now, I don't know if you can see that on the reverse camera, I'm driving with this screen just cracked a slight little bit there. I hope you can see that, just to let more airflow in, because if I shut it fully like that, it'll be misted up within 30 seconds, which is fairly dangerous, to be honest. So part of me is now thinking, just to make it the ultimate all-round rider experience, does this mean I have to now look for a different helmet? I wouldn't mind an adventure helmet, but then for the style of riding I'm going to be doing, I'm not going to be doing off-roading on this. It's going to be munching the miles, stuff like this, and, well, touring, basically. It's going to be a tourer for me rather than an adventure bike. What a gorgeous day! I'm just hitting the M50, which is the busiest ring road, well, the busiest road actually in Ireland. It is the ring road around Dublin. I've got the cruise control set to on, 66 kilometers an hour, only because that's what this lorry in front of me is doing. Be interesting to see how it handles with all of the traffic. It's a 3-lane road there, so I'm watching the little orange triangles here. First time I've had any of that on a motorbike. I mean, like anything on this bike, it's to assist you, it's not instead of. But it is nice to see it all working, I have to say. One of the comments over the weekend said, yeah, but really, do you need all of that technology? The short answer is no. Oh, Jesus. He literally cut me straight up. He literally could have taken me out there. Well, that was a real-life demonstration of the safety equipment on board. I'll be interested, because that all happened so quick, I'll be interested to play this back in the edit and see if indeed the cruise control detected him coming to wipe me out there and slowed me down. It all happened, like I say, very quick, so obviously I did slow down, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be finishing this video. But I don't know if it was me or the radar cruise control, so looking forward to looking at that one back. Actually, just a side note, the country roads, so many of you see the country lanes that I ride around on a lot of my videos, only because of where I live, and the roads are absolutely incredible. But the government have just reduced the speed limit from 80 kilometers an hour on those country roads to 60. Now, obviously, if it saves lives, then it's a great thing. They haven't as yet reduced the speed limit on the motorways from 120 down to down to a lower speed, but that's probably happening next. Still got 360 kilometers left in my tank and only 239 kilometers left to go. And it's a beautiful, beautiful day. I'm really, really enjoying this. I'm wondering why, so this is another great test, I'm wondering why in my peripheral vision my orange light is lighting up. And with my eye, I couldn't see the truck coming up on the inside of me. Because of, he was in my blind spot. But now that I've just moved forward a little bit, I can't see the very fact that he's there. So again, can you imagine if I just decided to move in there? This is turning into an interesting journey. It really is such a comfortable bike, this. I've been on the bike for an hour and a half now. My wrists are fine, my backside is fine, my position, if I'm totally honest, I feel as though I'm leaning forward a little. Now, I'm just comparing this to my previous 1200 GS. So I would like to sit upright a little bit more. I may look into getting the bar risers, which also sweep back as well, because I feel as though my hands are still down low a little bit again compared to my previous bike. I suppose it's what you get used to. But in terms of the bike and the rideability and the comfort, like, this is unparalleled, certainly with anything else I've owned in the past. A few of you have asked recently again about the engine noise. When I'm on, main roads or anything sort of more than half an hour, I wear earplugs, so it would be unfair to comment. And just to reiterate the fact, because I've come from a 1200 GS, that really was like a tractor. So I think I certainly haven't noticed any increase when I'm not wearing earplugs and I'm around the country lanes on this bike. Do you know what? All I've done on those bloody videos is moan, isn't it? I'm actually really looking forward to a night away. I was away. Police. Oh, my sat nav has just flashed up that there is police ahead, 500 meters ahead. This Chiggy system is unbelievable, by the way. If you want to buy one, my links are still active for this, but it works absolutely seamless with the 1300 GS and the GSA. I read some exciting news as well over the weekend about Elon Musk's company Starlink, which is who we have our Wi-Fi with at home, only because we live so rural. It's the only broadband provider we can get, and apparently in the next iOS update on the Apple iPhones and iPads, the Starlink is going to be built into that. Now obviously that's going to be a subscription service, but what it does mean for screen mirroring systems like this, I mean, the biggest concern for riders, you know, leaving a dedicated sat-nav to move to one of these is always what happens if your phone hasn't got a signal and you're relying on your sat-nav from your phone being mirrored on this screen. Well, with this new Starlink system, like I say, being built into the phones and iPads, that problem will no longer exist, because the whole world is covered pretty much with Starlink. If it's anything like the one we have at home, it's unbelievable. We couldn't even download a photograph on Wi-Fi at home until we got Starlink, and now I'm uploading footage that I've shot for TV networks, you know, rather than having to drive it myself down to Dublin. It actually has changed our lives, especially the kids. So yeah, that would really put an end to all of the queries about mirrored systems like this. You know, if you're in Timbuktu, wondering if you can still follow your sat nav. What was I saying about the Irish weather? Look at this. I won't be keeping the camera on too long at the moment. I'm going to stop and put the camera away, because I have actually destroyed a camera with this sort of rain, and it's blowing the gale. You can hopefully see me leaning the bike against the wind. It's coming from my right here. Oh God, that was a gust. Anyway, the good news is the screen seems to be thrown. I'll put this reverse camera on, because then you might get a better picture. The screen seems to be throwing the rain over and above me. My arms are definitely getting hit by it. My legs aren't suffering at all. Now, I suppose these wing... Oh God, I got worried there. I thought, oh my God, what's that? What's that warning sign? So the winglets are definitely throwing a lot of the wind and the rain around my body, which is good news. Service overdue. Yes, I know. I'm on my way, for God's sake. Have some patience.
Well, after riding through that monsoon, I made it to the hotel. I've been on the road for 3 hours 52 minutes. Forgive me for looking down here. I've literally just made a few notes about a few things I wanted to, well, observations that I wanted to bring you from the ride down here. I had absolutely zero stops. I didn't even stop for a coffee, which is very unlike me. So I was very, very comfortable on board the bike. Obviously enough fuel to do that journey twice. But what I did notice, even though, like I say, the monsoons, well, it wasn't quite a monsoon, but when you're on a motorbike, you know, you can over-exaggerate the weather. But I am absolutely, you can probably see, all I've done here, by the way, is to take my Alpine Stars gear off. I've just put this jumper on. I haven't even had a shower. Forgive the helmet hair. I'm absolutely bone dry. I am, well, I feel as fresh as a daisy. I might not look it, because I did have to keep the visor open on the helmet for quite a bit of the journey, except when it was pouring down. Just because of that misting up problem. That's bloody annoying. Not the bike's fault. Well, it might be something to do with the bike because of how good the screen is. Actually, that's what I want to talk about first. So it was, I noticed on the way down here, forgive me for looking down, I've got a pencil and paper notes. I haven't got the luxury of the laptop with me. I should have brought it. It was 5 degrees Celsius, I noticed on the screen for most of the way down. It did rise to 6, but so cold enough really. I felt very warm. I had the heated seat on number 3 most of the time. The heated grips were too hot on number 3, so I had to turn them down to 2. The other observation was, yeah, those winglets and the screen and just the size of the tank. I wasn't, and I think earlier on in the video, obviously I haven't edited this video yet, but hopefully earlier on in the video you will have seen where there was a gust of wind literally blowing me over, and there was a few times I had to fight the wind coming side on the way down. But never at any stage did I feel any buffeting, even on a real windy day like this. On the weather forecast, again, I might have mentioned this, they're talking about 100 km/h gusts today. So, you know, that is huge testament to the bike. It is a big, heavy bike, but planted, as I hear everybody use on motorcycle reviews, it's one of my hate words. I'd love to come up with a new word for planted, but that bike is seriously planted. It was incredible on the journey, super comfortable. I don't feel tired in any way. In fact, I feel more tired doing this journey as I regularly do in a car. Before I go any further, here is me quick sped up video of me locking the bike. I have an Oxford disc lock on the front, and I have one of the light locks on the back. I also bring a cover with me for any bike, just to, again, to try and stop temptation. The bike is also alarmed, immobilized. I have several, I'm not going to say how many, but I have several Apple AirTags on it as well. Now, if anybody pinches the bike and gets away with it after all of that, there's nothing more I can do. Anyway, so that was an easy enough process. One thing I'm little concerned about is that I don't know how sensitive, because it's a new bike to me, I don't know how sensitive the alarm is. So, and it's very windy still out there. So if the rain cover is flapping around and sets the alarm off, I hope it doesn't annoy the hotel guests. Okay, on to the first main observation, the radar cruise control. I don't know until I look back at the footage when I get home, but I suspect the radar cruise control today could have possibly saved my life. I'll try and play a clip over the top of me talking now. From what I remember, there was a Mercedes driver who had no idea I was there. He came from my left-hand side, came straight into my lane. I suspect I was in his blind spot, just because of the way the traffic was at the time on the M50. But he came straight into my lane, and even when I started flashing him and tooting my horn, he still had no idea I was there. He was an old gentleman, so I don't know what was going on there, but the bike did slow down. As soon as he came into my lane, the bike slowed down, and I remember, and if I remember rightly, I was looking at something in front of me or to the right of me. I just might not have seen him coming into my lane, but the bike slowed down. I'm going to have to replay the footage when I get home to see if it was me or the cruise control which slowed me down. If it was the cruise control, it saved my life. The ASA, the automated shift assistant, I can't really say too much on that within this video. If you'd seen my previous video, you'd know how much I've slated it. But I pretty much stayed in 6th gear because today was all about motorway riding. I know when I set off on the country lanes from where I live, it was still very clunky. Again, I'm really hoping tomorrow smooths out all of these little negatives, and that's all they are, I have to say. They're only little negatives, although I could have saved €870, I think it was, on the option of automatic shift assistant. I'm not going to say just yet whether I would have not bought it, because, like I say, tomorrow I'm hoping we'll sort a lot of that out. But other than that, do you know what? It's actually a really nice excuse. I was sort of given out and annoyed that I had to pay €125 to come all the way down here to stay overnight before getting the bike in for a service. I'm actually over the moon I did, because it's a really nice excuse just to get a night away. I was away all last week with work, and you know, when you're away with work, I think there was a crew of 6 or 7 of us, so you have to do the social thing. You never quite switch off. So I've booked myself a nice little meal in the restaurant tonight for 7:30. I was going to say I've hung all my clothes up to dry. The Alpine Stars gear, this is 5 years old stuff now that I bought when I first got back into biking, and I bought my FGR 1300. I bought somebody, and it was great advice, because those words have stood to them, whoever gave me the advice, and I can't remember who it was. They said, just buy the best possible waterproof equipment, motorcycle gear that you can possibly buy living in Ireland. You know, and yeah, that was great advice, because, in fact, I'll show you if I can. The gear is there all over the back of a chair. It's bone dry, it really is, so none of it needs drying out or airing or anything like that.
So, welcome back. I'm really looking forward to getting on this machine again. Right, select gear. I'm nearly frightened to put it in the automatic mode.
But that fear was short-lived, and to my delight, the ASA software update has worked to a degree. In both Road and Dynamic Pro modes, it's definitely a lot smoother of an automatic shift when I'm riding at a normal pace, but when I'm in Dynamic Pro and riding aggressively, the jerkiness is very, very unsettling still. Ah well, maybe the bike will settle in over the next while, and maybe I will too. However, the Michelin Road 6 tyres have made an instant improvement to the ride, and I love that familiar feedback from the road they are instantly giving me. And I'm also happy to report they are no noisier than the Touran's next 2 tyres. The heated grips have been matched in temperature to each other, but they're definitely not as hot as they were. But most importantly, I've reviewed the Moment on the M50 many times now, and it's clear that whilst I was looking over my shoulder momentarily to check my blind spot before I filtered into the fast lane, it was indeed the radar cruise control which kicked in when the Mercedes driver cut me up, and I dread to think what might have happened without that technology. So, has that made me any happier?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. New tyres, which has really changed the feel of the bike, and also a much smoother automatic shift assist. Right, it's about to start bucketing down. I'm going to put the cameras away. Thanks so much. Have a great week, everybody. Ride safe. I'll be back on YouTube next Saturday at 8 AM. Dave Perry, Wheelie Good TV, about to get absolutely pissed on. Good luck.